All of us, both young and old, men and women, Kenyans of every group, every race, every creed, have embarked on a journey to a promising future.
Okay, thank you. Asanteni sana. Once again, my name is Duncan. Now, I'm just a citizen like all of us. So, mmecheki debate topic yangu ni the youth should not be involved in leadership. Na in that namaanisha, okay, I think to define terms it's easier. So for me, the youth ni 18 to 35. Na leadership, we mean elected positions. So of course, you can be a CEO of your own company. You can be a CEO appointed to a company, but you mean elected positions. So kumekuwa na very many youth groups saying youth should be involved and we should be given a percentage of seats that are just dedicated for youth, and I believe that's wrong. So please, ulako against it, I'd love to hear.
So I'm Nick, and I'll be totally against it because for the first time I've seen it's an interesting topic. I've never heard anybody think in that manner that the youth should not be involved in leadership, especially elected positions. Normally, if you see the elections and politics, it requires first a lot of funds, and by the time you mean 18 to maybe 35. If you check their financial capability with the nature of politics in Kenya, which have been made so financial, majority of the youths will not manage it. So that will just be one of my first major reasons to oppose the idea that you have currently. Though it's also a good thing because get youth out of politics maybe and leadership will get them to work in maybe other sectors. But you have to remember that the other leaders will have to grow old. So getting youths into leadership will give them a base to rise to be good leaders in the near future. Because you have to train from somewhere, gain the skills, learn and grow. So by the time you get out of the youth age, you are a better leader.
Okay, 100%. And just to get your points right, Musama, one is that you oppose the idea because there are no funds, and resources available. So we have to be given a boost to get into those positions. And second is that all these other guys watatoka at some point. So we need to be involved to begin with, ndio tufuatilie. It's like to involved in the process so that kusikwe na gap. When the time is right, we get there. Now, my argument is this: is that you don't have to be an elected leader for you to be a leader per se. You don't have to be, you don't have to be an MCA to be a leader. There's a lot of avenues where youth can involve themselves, but involved in us actually taking initiative to involve ourselves. No. Now, my argument is we don't need anyone to help us. That's not what the youth need. I think we have enough smart people, we have enough innovative people. We just need to take action in the areas that matter and care about our local communities. No. For example, if saizi kuna El Nino, right? Why do we need anyone akuja tuchimbia drainage ya mtaa, right? You get, hatuhitaji MCA akuja tuchimbia drainage enye inapita hapo nje ya mlango yangu. You get? So, and that's what I mean. We need to engage ourselves outside of those positions so that we qualify. You don't just qualify by being young, you need to qualify by actions. At least that's my position.
I would say, like, I think according to your argument, you underestimate the power of elective leadership in the country that we are in right now. I think first we need to acknowledge where we are at, the role leadership plays in the country, and I think you understand the role elective leadership plays in our country.
What do you think? What is the role? What role?
I think according to it right now, any change in the mentality or perspective of people has to start with our leaders. You understand? The leaders that we've elected.
I'm opposed to that. I think it's the opposite. In that, we determine the values that we take there. It doesn't start from them. It starts from us. the values that the leader shows are your values. So the leader akiwa pale parliament ana represent what your character is, or what the morality of that society, not them going up there and then deciding what our values should be. I think it's in reverse, in that if we're good people, we elect good people. If you're bad people, we elect bad people. That's my thinking.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right in that sense. What I meant is, okay, of course, the leaders were elected reflect us as a people.
Thank you.
But I want you to understand the role leadership plays in us in bringing change. You understand? You understand?
I do understand.
Yeah, like as of right now, as the country that we are in right now,
Okay.
we solely depend on our leaders, right?
But should it be that way?
It shouldn't be that way.
Thank you. Which is why I think that it should be the opposite, in that, okay, maybe a question for you. Are leaders made or born? Are leaders made or born? What do you think?
First, I'll say that leaders are made with the time. Nobody is born a leader, unless maybe you believe you're born a leader, which I don't think that might not be the case.
Okay, so if leaders are made, then they must have been made somewhere before they became leaders, isn't it?
Yeah,
Actions outside of leadership.
Yeah. So maybe actions out of leadership. But you said, for example, there is El Nino currently. How will those people manage to dig maybe a drainage system, or maybe drain the water somewhere else? They need resources in that case.
No, you don't.
For example, let's say this water, we want to drain it from that place. What will we need? We need maybe some jembes, or maybe if it were to use tractors or something.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in that case, let me say I have the idea. I'm a local, maybe I believe I'm a leader, I lead my community, I lead the youth there. Yeah. But how will I get these things? I'll have to maybe get through a political leader, convince him to give us maybe the tractors, the jembes in that case. Because if you start fundraising currently with the current economic situation in this country, how are we going to buy our own jembes? Maybe buy our own pipes, buy our own machines to drain that water. In that case, we'll have to go to those in government, because there are funds set aside for maybe in that case the floods, for example, in this case. So that's why we just need to, at some extent, go to the political leadership. Because if it's not about leadership, then you have to go to maybe non-governmental organizations, for example, Red Cross in this case. A few days ago, I saw somebody being rescued from, don't know where the floods were exactly, but using a chopper. Which community has a leader, especially the youth, not in government, who can afford a chopper, who can go to maybe do the rescue? Or how will it be possible without these people in elected positions?
Okay. I understand your perspective, Kabisa. I do understand it. And you're both right in that there's a role for leadership. But my point is that leadership is a natural trait. It doesn't occur because you elect someone. No. Let me give you a bad example, but I think I've seen it a number of times. For example, have you ever been nimeiona on Nairobi Nakuru highway? Have you ever seen a situation where a vehicle is stuck or there's an accident? Yeah. Have you ever seen how people organize and make a lot of effort to get the road unstuck again? Have you ever seen such a thing? It's a very localized thing. Very localized, but it's people shouting, we fanya hivi, kujeni tusaidie huyu atoke, and then huyu akitoka tutatoa huyu, and then huyu akitoka tutatoa huyu. You get? Wewe simama hapo kwanza, let's wait for huyu atoke. You get? And then I think you're una rule out the power of organizing, because mimi nafikiria hivi. Okay, let's start this way. This is even though mimi nafikiria a small town, a small area in a grow, we come together and we start a nini, tunaanza a community, si ndio? Sema tumehamia hapa, tumekuja tukajenga, we are all neighbors, si ndio? And then a community starts growing without a leader, si ndio? Polepole tu watu wetu tunaanza kuwa raise wives nini, then it grows. Suddenly inakuwa like a location, for example. Ni nini na transformingi from that position? Nielezee what changes to now we need an MCA, or now we need elected leadership, because mimi nafikiria most of the things at a very local level we can do ourselves, then we grow and grow and grow and organize until ile point enye we are too many to organize naturally, si ndio? Ndo we get someone mwenye tunamwambia hii kazi yako dedicated ni to make sure we are organized, si ndio? But up to that point we don't, a lot of efforts zitatoka from kwetu, because hata MCA anakujanga anatuambia guys I will need you to do this, tumeni vijana wenu wakuja tufagie soko, right? It's still our efforts, ama mnaonaje?
Thank you for the chance. All I can say is that everyone is born a leader, but the degree to which somebody manifests the leadership quality that he or she has depends on the kind of environment that they are brought up in. Because you find that, for myself, you find that when you reach a certain age, you start doing things on your own. Yeah. You start leading yourself. That is the first point of leadership. You lead yourself. Okay. Then it reaches a point that you need guidance from those people who are up there, because they have been in that area. And if you yourself tried, maybe there are so many challenges that they've gone through, that they know the parts that you can step upon, and then you reach in those areas. Yeah. So also the thing that makes us have to elect these leaders is how we were taught. That, like, you find that maybe in your community you hear that these people watu wao wanakuanga ma chiefs, so chiefs wanafaa watoke hapo. Kwa hii place ni ma kings wanafaa watoke hapo. That is how we were taught. But you find that even that person who is not a king, he can do something.
Sure, 100%, that's my belief.
Yeah, anaweza fanya kitu, unaona. So ni ile tu jamaa ukimpatia chance he can do it. Yeah. Ni ile tu tunasema jamaa anajulikana huko, acha elect. It is all about connections. Yeah. You make your connections well, and then you come to these people who are down here. Yeah. You tell them, if you elect me, these roads and this and this and this will be done because I know people up there. Yeah. What if all people had that connection? Si tunaweza fanya kitu sisi wote. Yeah, so it's how so that's how even back in the days you find that most of the people walikuwa wanataka kujirole. Unapata huyu ako na opinion yake, this person has his or opinion, but they had to come to a common agreement. Yeah. Okay, we can all do these things. Yeah. But let us now put somebody there.
Someone in charge of it.
But not that it is that person who knows. It is these people.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
These people who know the thing that this person has to do. But now things have changed. Okay. No. Okay. So we find that mimi nitasema mimi siwezi, huyu ndiye anaweza. Wacha tumelect aende atusaidie. So tumejidunisha. We brought ourselves down.
Okay. No. I think we agree that leadership matters. Okay. Now, at what point, and now we see what the structure is. The leadership as it is saizi, it's mostly older people. Why do you think it matters that a young person is there? I don't get it. Why does it matter that a young person is elected?
Thank you so much, Nelson Mandela.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Okay, mi naweza nataka turudi kwa basics za leadership.
Okay.
Unaona, like, who do we see as a leader? Is it somebody we are serving or somebody who serves us? Unaona, because tukieka like leadership is we are going to serve somebody at the top, then we'll ask ourselves, why do we need a youth there? Unaona?
Yeah.
But if leadership is serving others, then why are we saying that the youth should not be there? Unaona?
Okay.
Because leadership should be service to people. The reason why you're electing people to these governmental positions or these positions are leadership is because you want them to serve you, not that you will serve them. Unaona? Because kama leadership need to be served, then we don't want youth there. But if it's leadership is service, then we need youth.
Okay. Why? Give me a justification.
Okay.
Just to follow, before I counter, I'm gonna counter for you, but just to follow your thought, why?
Okay.
Why you? As in, your age.
So najua the first thing is, ukiangalia the motion of our topic kids, but the approach tumekuja now, but the youth should not have anything to do with leadership. Unaona, like no youth should be seen anywhere in the vicinity of
They
leadership.
can be seen.
Uh-huh.
But it's not for them being a youth.
Mhm.
It's because they have other qualities outside of being young. So mimi nasema, what is it about being young that makes you qualified? And my opinion is nothing.
So the problem you have with youth is that there are positions for the youth.
Yeah.
That's the only
Or
problem you have
the problem I have is us designating positions
for the youth.
based on your youth.
Youth.
See, based
that's
on qualification.
Okay,
You can be
okay.
qualified and young.
Yeah.
Okay, qualified.
Yeah.
But you too, yeah, being young, nipe any positions. Why?
Okay. That changes the
Yeah,
whole
that's
topic.
now you see. Now there's clarity.
Yeah, there's
Why
clarity.
should we give youth a position in leadership?
Yeah, because actually that is my argument. Why?
Yeah.
Why do youth deserve a position in leadership just for being youth? Because you don't deserve it anywhere else for being youth. And I'm saying, okay, sawa, we need leadership to be diverse, fantastic. But you don't deserve it by just being a young person. Nipe a reason that youth should be there. What is the justification? What do we offer that cannot be offered by an older person?
Think
What
about it.
perspectives do you offer?
Just think about it. For example, why do we need people with the disability having those positions for those with the disability? Just think about it. Because when you are, let me say, if somebody is not having a disability, should you say you are able? You are different from that person with disability. The way that person walks and the challenges he faces, you cannot face them. So the moment that person will be there representing their own needs and wants, it will be more easier because he's more aware and knowledgeable about that area.
I think that's a bad way of looking at things. Because
Just
it
wait.
can be applied for everything.
Why?
It can be applied for everything. Why should a person who's smarter than me be asked to represent me of average intelligence? Leteni watu of average intelligence so that I feel represented. Only us can represent us. Wateni watu wa jua kali or represent jua kali because only them can understand jua kali problems. It can be used for everyone and then now umejaribu. And I'm thinking bad or good ideas zina transcend hizo categories zote. Ziko above all of us. Anyone can have a bad idea. Anyone can have a good idea.
Exactly.
Still.
But I don't know why you want only the. Why don't you have positions for the old in that parliament or
Because
maybe
I
that
think
other place?
tangu zamani, it's biblical na all societies value the wisdom in age. So naturally, hao ndio wamekuwa in leadership.
Do you know that's interesting because they normally say that also fools do grow old. Yeah. So think about it.
It's true, but probability.
But you have to.
The probability that you're wiser than an older person, if other things are held constant, ni lower.
So where do we expect this person to gain maybe the wisdom and experience?
I think
outside that place.
Outside here, I would want first.
Yeah.
For example, someone who's not ninaweza feel vibaya sana if someone who's straight out of high school is put a vote in front of them about taxes. Clearly don't understand the issue.
But that person can be experienced. That's the first
about
point.
what?
About the taxes.
How?
Experience maybe
Hajui difference ya pay as you earn na other income taxes, hajui difference ya corporate tax na income tax, and fresh out of high school 2027 umepewa a vote about taxes. That's just wrong.
So
kitu hawezani nayo.
When these people are given these positions, normally they're supposed to majorly let me say what? To represent the interest of those people. It's about the youth, they're supposed to represent the interest of the youth.
Okay.
So if that person will be going there to vote, atakuwa na niseme like his example, niseme any youth. So out here, he's feeling the pain the other youths are feeling. Let's assume he's feeling the pain.
Okay.
So when voting, he'll be voting like I'm a youth. Because maybe that old person has already made maybe a lot of money, let's assume. Or maybe he's well off. But this youth, like maybe fresh from high school. To say too, like he was just 18. I don't know how much well he is or stable. So when voting, he's voting as a youth because he's feeling the pain the other youths are feeling.
Okay. What's a particularly pain? What's a particular pain unaweza sema youth experience in other groups not experience?
First let me say depending first on the income.
What would you say are challenges youth experience other groups don't experience?
For example, I don't know if you have tried getting a loan anywhere. A loan. Do you have any securities?
No.
You are a youth.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can, that's one of the major challenges people have. Maybe you want to invest somewhere.
Yeah.
But in that case, maybe your source of capital, maybe you have to get a loan. You have no securities, you have no piece of land, you have no vehicle, you have no job. So maybe let me say that lead is a good one. It's a good, so he goes there to parliament, passes the law in a good way, and it becomes good.
Can I counter that?
Yes.
Okay, when you're asking for a loan, give me a good reason unafaa kupewa loan.
Because you want to invest, or maybe you want to do something. You have an idea, you want to implement that.
It's true. But the way loans work is si ati kuna mtu ananyimanga youth loan. Yetu ananyimanga watu wenye hawana, watu wako wananyimanga watu wako risky. And the truth is, you're risky.
The youths are risky. They have nothing.
It's true.
They have nothing to offer.
But also, unaweza amka leo, uende uishi Mombasa kesho. Si ndio? You're risky.
Yes, you're risky, but you have nothing else to offer. So the old man has a car. And you let a logbook. Let a logbook. On a land, let a title deed. Atapewa.
But also, the one thing enye nataka appreciate ni ati wanajua and I don't know if this adds points, but I believe it does. Ni ati hata the old man wanajua huyu jamaa tukienda next year January tutampata the same home atakuwa. Sijui kama atakupata the same home atakuwa. Ndio. So kuna risk points zenye si about pesa peke yake. Kuna many risk points as a young person that I don't want to deal with. Sitaki kuja kukutafuta.
And that's why you need a representative.
You think so?
Yeah.
To defend you in that case.
Okay. How does this representative reduce your risk? How do they reduce your risk as a young person?
They can fight for your rights. Yeah. If in case they are good leaders,
you don't have rights. You don't have rights in that case because hini about mahesabu. Unaona? The bank has run their numbers. Now can determine, you know what? You're too risky for me to deal with. Your idea is brilliant. Your idea, very good idea. But you're too risky for me.
Look, you see, one thing we have to understand that if you look at it that way, I think we'll miss the point.
Okay.
Not only banks offer capital.
Okay.
The government can come in and give you something to start with. There was a fund, was it Uwezo fund or something that was supposed to help you?
Okay. Okay.
And whether there's also the youth empowerment fund.
I'm against that. The reason why I'm against is of funds the government is because that's someone else's money. The government doesn't have money. It's my money as a taxpayer.
Yeah, it's your money.
So you're saying you're entitled to my money.
You don't want it again. So it's your money. So if you're given, then take it.
No, I'm saying that is someone else's money.
Whose money?
A taxpayer.
Yes, so then
as the taxpayer.
We are the taxpayer because majority of the youths ndio unapata wako job sasa.
Yeah.
Watu old sahii manze wakifika 60 wana retire. Unaona. So sahii unapata most of watu wenye work sahii ni youths. That's why you find sasa hapa Kenya hawapati your voice. That's why they opt to leave. Unapata sahii ukienda immigration, my youths manze wana apply for passports.
Yeah.
They want somewhere where they can be heard. And these people are the ones who are building this economy. Yes, wale watu wenye walikuwa huko already laid the foundations, but what kama sasa ile foundation ikufe?
True, but what I mean is this. What I mean is this. You're a taxpayer.
Yes.
But go on a list of priorities. Now, if you've tried business, unajua a majority of ideas fail. Sindio? I don't want someone to experiment with my money, or at least if they experiment with my money, wacha ikue a list of priorities zenye I can vote for. Isikue to something someone came and said, let's chomoa 10 billion to pay youth. You get? Ikue something us sisi wote tume agree. You know what? A part of our priority is investing in youth. Sindio?
Yeah.
See, that's true.
Yeah.
It should be a priority for us. It should not be someone from somewhere saying, nime create hustler fund, isaidie vijana na wamama. It should be something it should be discussed so that tujue, you know what, if this is something we agreed to, this is something we voted for. Sindio?
So let me ask you.
Okay.
Huyu mjama mwenye sasa hii pesa yake youth anataka kutumia. Was he once a youth?
Yes.
And how did he get that experience? Kama alikuwa tu akafika age fulani akapata hiyo do sasa akasema mzee
no hakupata hiyo do. Ni ati hakupata hiyo do magically. I think
He went through a process.
he went through a process.
Okay, so you want this person who has gone through a process, he wants to invest his money, he knows the process.
Yeah.
So this person who knows the process, why don't you just allow this person also to learn the process instead of just jumping to where you want this person to be a success instead of following that process first?
Okay. Do you think and I agree with you that kuna ways zenye tunaweza reduce barriers, but there's no shortcut really. The process is the process. Yet you have to work, you have to get experience, you have to raise capital, because hakuna mtu anakupea capital, si ndio? You have to be worthy of that capital, si ndio? You have to be someone I want to invest in, na hiyo yote inakujanga with time, si ndio? The same way kwa kampuni, you have to start at the bottom, get promoted, nini. Wale watu wenye hawapitii hiyo process ni very very few. So for 99% of us, the process is the process, and I agree with it. All I'm saying is, just because I'm a young person does not mean ati now hiyo njia ichenjiwe, useme no, I'm a young person, my ideas are different. No. Let people go through the process, and if you qualify, fantastic. If kama wewe kesho you go apply for a loan and they see, what, tumeangalia the benefit versus the risk and we think you're worth it, I want you to get the money, sindio? But I don't want us as youth kufikiria kuna mtu anatukanyagia just because we are young. No, there's a process that banks go through, and I think that process is important, na pia lazima tujiangalie si wenyewe. Unaona? Tuangalie ni nini inafanya youth wakwe more risky than other groups, and then we start addressing those issues. The other thing is that, kama for example uliangalia US with many companies, waliona many companies zinaanzanga through family and friends. Unaona? That the number one people who support your idea is not your MCA, ni your family and friends. Hapo ndo mali pesa inapoteleanga, which means hata sisi ideas zinafaa kuvalidatiwa hivyo, and validate idea through your friends. If I create a company today and I can't get you to buy my product, why should another person give me money? Unaget tunasema
Acha sasa niongee juu nimesikia mmeenda so deep. Acha nirudi hapa.
Okay. Kabisa turudishe.
Acha nirudishe hapo because okay, me personally I don't believe that youth should just be given positions because they are youth.
Thank you.
Unacheki? Just hold that thought. They should not just be given because by there you fall in the bracket of youth, so we have a position for you.
Yeah.
No. But leadership, yes, is based on values and character. Sindio? Because hatutaki kusema by there because you're youth, they position yako, then you speak for people. No.
Sasa kuna 30% for youth. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I always speak for people.
Yeah.
No, because I know there are more qualified youths than you. When you go hapo juu, sindio? Yeah. So why put that position there? Angalia, unakumbuka ile time women wakaanza women empowerment, mbona? Because walikuwa wanaona some industries are dominated by men. Sindio?
Yeah, most industries.
Sindio? Yeah. Wakasema by there we need representation.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Yeah.
So it's not that by there tunakuweka huko so you speak for us. Unaona? Because ukiangalia sasa, yes, kuna kitu ya diversity and inclusion. Yeah. Unaona? Yes, tuko diverse because youths, Gen Z, unaona, we want to see representation. In as much as you're not representing our interests, we want to see representation. Are youths represented?
Okay, let me ask you.
So, just wait.
Okay,
just wait. So, yes, tume install your position hapo, but now who should sit there? Unaona? Is it any youth? Because kama tunakuja na whether it's just for youth. No, we have to vet the quality of youth when you're wanaingia hapo.
Okay.
Because angalia the political structure tuko nayo. Ukiangalia the youth that are even being mentored by the elderly, it's very minimum. Ndio maana we don't have even trust to put them there.
Yeah.
Unaona? Yeah. But kama kuna a structure yenye wanasema but here we want people who have passed through mentorship, my brother kwa sema we just don't want to put people there.
Yeah.
And a vetting process. But who have you sat under? Because yes, kuna hii position ya youth.
Yeah.
Are we just giving it away because you're youth? No. We want to see by the position to make up who are the qualified youths for it.
Okay.
Because leadership can be in the youth.
True.
Sindio?
True. Allow me to ask you a question. Why does it matter? Your representation. For example, if every person in the Senate and in Parliament was between 65 and 75, Sema went to college, worked for 30 years, for example. But they all have good ideas. In a matter nini that they're not either women or youth. Why does it matter? Okay.
Okay. Say I asked you if between those 65 and 75, we have to also acknowledge we're an ethnicized country.
Yeah.
If they were all Luo or maybe Luya,
Yeah. With good ideas, I wouldn't
with
care.
good ideas,
I wouldn't
would
care.
you care?
I wouldn't care.
I believe you're the only person who wouldn't.
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care.
Okay, maybe it's my first comment here. So I'm Clinton Ojambo, and I'm your host, and I'm from Kasarani Social Justice Center here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just maybe just a little bit on this question about the youth. Maybe before we go much deeper into youth leadership, maybe we should ask ourselves in history what has the youth played in trying to change the social order? Maybe not only in Kenya or maybe even other countries. You see?
Good question.
Yeah, you see. So maybe I can give examples. Like for example, in Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara, he instrumented a very successful revolution that brought that country to stand up against colonialism. You see, even in Kenya, the Mau Mau, they were all youths.
Yeah.
Another example maybe even is the French Revolution. You see, all these great changes of the social order, they were instrumented by the youth. You see, so maybe I can agree with you on at one point when you say that the youth maybe don't lack experience at some point while executing some things, but also we need to understand that ideas can only remain ideas until someone implements them. You see,
My
and at most times the youths are the one who implement these social orders. You see, that come to change our country.
yeah.
Multi-party in Kenya. Even our politicians who are currently right now, who are now the old leaders, they were youth. They were the youth wings of the then political parties. You see. So as I finish, maybe another question we should ask ourselves: what entails to be a leader? You see. I had one of my comrades here say that leadership must entail should entail either service or you being served.
Yeah.
You see, so my opinion is that, and when I say that, I'm also a member of a political party,
Yeah.
Communist Party of Kenya. You see,
Communist Party.
yeah, Communist Party of Kenya.
Wow.
So we need to understand that even leadership is political. It's not a matter of qualification. Yes, at some point, when it comes to technical leadership, it's a matter of qualifications. Like, for example, in ministries and all that and all that. But leadership, it should entail who are you serving. If you are an MCA, have you been endorsed by your people, or it's just that you can afford a political ticket in a popular party, then you come and impose your leadership because that area is supposedly a big party's stronghold. You see, so those are the questions that I think we should ask ourselves.
Clinton, one thing I would maybe I agree with you and Nelson on about the philosophy of leadership, about service. But let's be practical. That will never happen. No one thinks of a leader and thinks you serve me. You get? Now the practical thing is we want someone even because kuna studies that have been done that show even how they look matters. What wanaangalia, you don't want someone to look worse than you. You want someone who looks better than you. Sindio? First, me, I don't agree in calling elected officials leaders. They're not my leaders, they're my elected representatives. Unaona? So when they call themselves leaders, I don't call them that. But that's another debate for another day. But the issue, sorry,
Let me just interrupt. I just want to ask you a question.
yeah,
Do you believe that youths have ideas,
of course,
good ones?
good one, yes,
Do you believe that their voice should be heard?
no, it doesn't
Why?
matter.
Why?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, do you know one thing?
It doesn't.
Why is it?
Yeah.
Why is it that when the government wants to start something like innovation, they go for the youthful generation? Why?
Because I think, I think that's PR. I think that's PR.
Why?
First, the government does not innovate anything.
Why should the innovation be centered so much around the youth?
Okay, the youth, they're the energetic ones, we're the creative ones, we're the aggressive ones, unaona? We're the ones who can take risk in society, unaona? And that's allowed. And that's okay. And that's how it should be. But your ideas are not limited to serikali kusema the youth have ideas. As in, our ideas are not validated by the government. That's my point. No.
Okay, just
So
one thing.
we don't need our voice to be heard anywhere. We just need to do our thing. Ionekane our value is our work. This is your value.
Okay.
Unaona?
If you're interpreting voice as spoken,
No.
Okay.
Not spoken.
Even actions,
They
are our voice,
Yes.
because the youths are doing amazing things outside here,
Yes.
right? So my brother talked about qualification, and you said that by the way you're not going to see those people as your leaders. You see,
Yeah.
there's one time I was just doing a random research, and I now wanted to see how these CSs, their portfolio, have they done
Yeah.
to be in that position.
Yeah.
I stumbled on the CS of IT,
Mm-hmm.
ICT, Eli Dowalo.
Okay.
So you find that Eli Dowalo did business studies as a degree. This is business and economics. In masters he did HR. Then in PhD he just did strategic management.
Yeah.
No, there is actually no qualification in ICT there.
Okay.
So if you look at his PS, who is Engineer Tanui. Engineer Tanui has solid background in ICT.
Yeah.
Solid background. So it doesn't really matter who we put there. It matters who backs him. You see, like LUDS he will be the face of the Nini ICT, but the people who are working under him, they have more experience than him.
But that's wrong.
Can I say something about that?
That's wrong because it means the person who deserves the credit doesn't get the credit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That
wrong.
is how our government is started.
That's politics.
That's
So
politics.
let me tell you something. In one of the books I've read, it talks about cheese. So in this case, let's say that cheese is this leadership and maybe the positions and the benefits of these leadership positions. So it says having cheese makes you happy. Have you ever known why these people don't want to go home? The old men or maybe those other people. Do you know why they'll only put their own people in those positions? For example, we talked about the ICT, the minister for ICT. So do you know why he's not qualified but serving in that position? Because maybe the person in charge knows why that person will be the best person for that place.
Yeah.
Maybe because of their own interests, or maybe because let me just say it's about interest, not about the interest of the people. It's about the interest of the person leading the government, or maybe the one in charge of all these positions.
Okay.
So in that case, I think you have to also consider that even these people we elect, they have their own interests.
Okay, let me ask you
So
something.
yeah.
Would it have mattered if Eliud Owalo was, say, 32? Would he have contributed anything different than his current age?
Let me say, if he had maybe a lot of knowledge or maybe experience in ICT, then he would have made a change in that position.
Okay.
But being that he has no information,
It doesn't matter.
so in this case, let's assume.
Age bracket.
Yeah, so
It
let's
doesn't
assume
matter.
it doesn't matter. I don't know why you hate the youth being in leadership. I don't know why exactly, because you've accepted that they have ideas. Some have the capabilities, they have the qualifications. They have maybe, let's now just talk about goodwill. There's something known as goodwill. You can be a leader, but you don't. Let me talk about what? Getting to work for the people. For example, maybe you are there for your own interests. So in that case, you have nothing to worry much about. You have only to care about what you want. Maybe you wanted just the salary, maybe the position, maybe would have helped you maybe to get a contract or something like that. So that's why the people have now to think when electing these people. But you may also think while electing this person, but after election, that person decides to turn into something else. This one happens to both the old and maybe some other young people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
what
it's
I
very true.
what I okay. It's not that I'm not against having youth in leadership. I'm not against it. I am against us dividing ourselves into a group, calling ourselves now the youth, and saying we deserve to be part of the government. You get the same way kuna other groups because this country we like dividing ourselves into groups and then claiming part of the national pie. No, tasamanga the nation we need to be we're not recognized. The youth, we're the biggest voting bloc, we're the biggest working bloc, but we're not in government. And kwangu nasema it doesn't matter.
So let me just I don't know if I'll be supporting you or I'll be contradicting you. If we shouldn't create that cocoon, then say, hey, this is the youth
Yeah.
we need position in government, right? So we should, but see in Kenya, we should just come up with a solid structure of how we elect. No, it's not that now you're a youth, we don't give you the position, but we come up with a general setup that will favor everyone. Like it doesn't matter whether you're a youth or you're not a youth.
Thank you. It doesn't matter
Come
who you
up.
are.
If you are qualified
If
for the
you have a
position,
good idea, we vote for it.
we vote for you.
Yes.
And we set you in government.
Yes.
Yeah, not that, but these seats are for elderly,
Because-
these are for youth.
Yes, because I will
Let's
only
talk about something. There is something, let me say, it's about something to do with the marginalization or maybe special interest groups. And that's why we have to be there. Because, let's
group. We're the biggest voting.
yeah, we're the biggest voting bloc. But think about it.
And we can't be
Even
marginalized.
in
We're
a
the
free and fair
biggest voting
election,
bloc.
there are people who are elected into those positions. Though we know the youth are the minority. So in that case, we have to do something to raise the numbers. For example, why do we have women reps? Why do we have women reps? Because majority of the people.
Because we created useless positions, according to me.
According to you.
Unaona, to fill a constitutional requirement.
Imagine, constitutional requirements. So even the youth, let me just say, it has to be a requirement. For example, imagine the elections without women. Imagine how many people would have been in the National Assembly currently who are totally women. Leave alone those ones selected and nominated.
Don't you think that's wrong thinking? Saying, for example, that's wrong thinking in my opinion, because okay, we can have half the parliament women, half the parliament men, quarter of the parliament old youth in different age groups. What does it matter? A bad idea is a bad idea.
So are you against the ideas or you are against?
No, I'm against grouping people by physical characteristics as if it matters. It doesn't matter.
Let me add something.
So
Let me add something, just something. I think I see the point where the point you're coming from.
Thank you.
We don't have to say, but these seats are for women.
Yeah.
These seats are for now the majority of this one. No, because that one actually, it's like we are just trying to fill the seats. We're just trying to fill. But we are not giving our country the best people.
Thank you.
That we can give.
Thank you, Nelson.
Just about,
Thank you.
It's just about filling the seats.
Thank
so if nimesikia mkisema statement fulani hapa inasema that we are the major voters.
Voting bloc.
I know if you are the major voters as youth, we ourselves would have elected youth representatives hapo kwa government because we have the majority.
Thank you.
Unaona, so tukiona we still don't have youth, it is our problem.
Thank you.
Because we have the capacity to do that. Mbona tusi vote, then we come and complain we need a voice.
I'll be the first one to object.
I think
remember
we've reached an agreement.
Where it comes from. The first thing
Nelson have reached consensus.
I remember the same youth asked another youth in our village. He was trying to vie for MCA.
Yeah.
Because he was not married. They said this person is not even married. This person not even married.
Yeah.
This person has nothing. So he'll get into that position and try to get rich.
Yeah.
So they rather go for a rich man who they assume already has something. So will not maybe steal the public funds or something. So let's go for the rich one. There is also the way things, the same people who are talking about this one are the youths, not even the old men.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
And
can
that's what I'm
see.
saying. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, tukitafuta njia za kujigroup, tutajigroup mara nyingi sana. Unaona kama venye umesema.
It's
Now
not
kuna youth who are married.
it's not about
youth who are unmarried.
you know when this one
grouping and breaking. Na ukiangalia by the way, if we even look at it, does your concept ya youth, does it even exist? We are all so different. We are all so different. Kujiweka pamoja is lying to ourselves.
Yeah, but if you look at the kuna the Ministry of Youth and something of health,
Yeah.
but it's not being led by a youth.
Yeah.
Unaona, so ni kama hiyo youth is just a term. Unaona, but
think
no
about
one. Afu what you've said is actually correct. Ni sisi ndo hatutaki kujiweka huko, because ukiangalia the people wakisema but this is a youth ajawa nini, so already sisi we don't want to give him that position. Why? Because the problem now ina come back to the society.
Yeah.
Unaona,
Tumeputa
like,
an arbitrary limitation.
Juu
ya kwa nini asikue hapo.
ukiangalia nini the structure of Kenya, yes it's political but people are voting based on fame. Unaona, this guy but there is well spoken of chatumeka hapo, unaona, but we are not considering whether the youths have potential. Though youths have potential, but we don't want to put them there. Why? Because first we don't trust them. Unaona,
And we don't think about ideas. We don't value.
yeah, we don't
value huyu ideas zake ni gani na gani na gani.
But then again, as we're having this conversation, why are we judging them based on youth? Let's judge them based on their ideas.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
But we're using
Right now.
we're using what is being used.
Yeah, I understand that.
What we are saying is that there should not be anything like youth.
It should be there universally.
Like,
Thank you.
That's what you're
like if
prescribing.
you're qualified, go be elected.
Yeah.
But I
I
understand.
I am
But
used.
that is there, right? No one bars you from vying for a position because you're youth. No one.
The notion,
no one.
the notion of the we are youth, so we need a position.
Yeah, we're youth, so we need some position.
I think so
That's
indeed,
no problem that the youth want a position.
yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But at the moment, right now, I don't see. Okay, there are positions for the youth, but in terms of this elected position, if you meet the chapter 6 threshold, you're there, right?
Yeah, true.
I think what we need to do now is this position set aside for the youth and the ideas that the youth leaders who we've elected and their youth, are they good ideas? I think that's what we need to have.
Thank
right
you.
now.
So
Are they good ideas?
Let me just talk about something.
Not because they are youth or they are youth positions.
Yeah,
For me, I'll give
Yeah.
to try the part that they
I'll give
use
an
and
example.
look at the ideas.
Yeah.
Think
These
about
good ideas.
Then who is
Think about,
vetting the ideas? Who is vetting the ideas?
I think good ideas ni wanasemanga chama cha jiuza.
So,
Chama cha jiuza.
let's say,
When it's tested,
how will you trust somebody who's old to deal with the affairs of the youth, especially these current ones? You know, things are
my
changing.
thinking is there's nothing like affairs of the youth. That is
There are
my
no
thinking.
affairs.
Then there's nothing like affairs of the youth. Everyone is not any affairs of everyone. You'll go for an interview, there's going to be a 40-year-old person. So joblessness is not an issue of the youth. Housing is not an issue for the youth. Food, kila mtu hulala njaa. It's not an issue for the youth. So what is an issue for the
But
youth?
there are these new aspects that are coming up: mental health. You see,
But mental health it affects everyone as well.
the youth most so. I think you'll agree with me there.
I'll agree that actually I don't know if I agree. I don't know if you have evidence.
Imagine,
I don't have the numbers.
imagine a welfare committee
Yeah.
of staff in a place. But those who are in that welfare committee happens to be the managing levels, any people at the top, not even the staff themselves, but they claim to be the one in charge of our welfare. How realistic or how do you think it will work? Somebody who does not feel what you feel when you are at the ground,
Yeah.
is just there at the management level. Yani, ako tu pale amekaa ametulia, and then he claims to be working on your welfare. How does it work? That's the exact case.
I think let's look at an example. For example, Gikomba inachomeka. When Gikomba burns, what would you say is the percentage of youth to every other age group?
I want to be sure about that.
But ukijaribu kuguess, because mimi nikiguess, I would say there are more older people than you, or maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
But why do you think even if it was 50-50, in that case everybody will be affected?
Thank you.
But
That's what I think
imagine
happens across
who
the board.
will be talking about the pain of those traders? Let's assume there was no trader or maybe a business person representing those people somewhere. Who will know the pain they are feeling? Who will know the losses they have gone
It
through?
has to be a trader.
It should be nobody.
A trader.
Huh? It's a trader.
Nobody will understand it.
Yeah, that's why we need a trader in that case or a businessman in
I
that
agree
case.
with you. Let's get businessmen, let's get traders, let's get doctors, let's get IT guys. It doesn't matter if they're young.
Mhm.
So in that case, you are trying to agree that these people should be represented.
Yeah, if they're traders,
Yeah.
but not if they're youth.
So imagine there are other affairs apart from trade, business, or something, the business sector, the finance sector, or whatever sector.
Yeah.
So there is this bracket, you can call them the youth. For example, that's why we have women there in the parliament to represent interests of the women.
But let me
Because
ask you,
how
I know it's going to be controversial, but let me ask you, why is it automatic that we should have these groups?
These
isn't-
groups?
Why isn't it something that we can talk about?
we can talk about? I
Yeah,
think people
because-
talked about it and they agreed.
No one talked about it.
They agreed and saw that,
Yeah.
there is no way these majority men in the parliament can come and talk about the interest of the women.
Do you honestly?
So they got into
honestly
the
believe that?
constitution. Huh?
Do you honestly believe that wewe
Mhm.
you cannot represent, you cannot hawezi put thought into the interests of other people without you being them? You honestly think that?
No, you know, you have a different level. The way you'll feel it will be different. For example, you agreed just a few minutes ago that if the combat bans, the way a trader would feel it is not the same way. Maybe me, let me say I was the leader, maybe the MC or something. It's different how I'll feel, because in that case, maybe I've never invested anywhere before, so I don't know what that person is going through.
Okay.
So think about the youth. For example, I know when I was maybe, let me assume I was 18, then when I was 19, I got maybe nominated to parliament. When I was 18, I tried to work at something, but I could not make it because of this and that. So let me imagine I was there. I come up with a good bill and it passes. Though I agree also that old people can be there and do it, but we still need these young people.
Oh, of course, we need them. We need ourselves. But my thinking is this, and that's the reason maybe for having a conversation like this. No. Yati, we need ourselves first to recognize value outside of politics, value in ourselves. No. That if Nelson has an idea, he doesn't need the MCA kunini the idea. Anaweza come get signatures from us and we would be willing to support his idea. No. I think tunabuy into the political narrative too much and thinking we deserve things we don't deserve. You know my thinking. There's nothing you deserve. There's nothing that is given, because these positions are not given. They're not there. No. Yeah?
I love there is this notion.
Different.
Yeah?
There is this notion. Unajua, in as much as yes, we have representative and we need to be seen or to be heard, and tukianza to create these positions of we have a representative to do this, we have a representative to do this, then to some way it hinders. In
Thank
some
you.
way it hinders because you have an idea but you are waiting for somebody to represent it.
Yeah.
Unaona, so utakuwa unapata kama ijafika huko it dies with you.
Yeah.
So
Because imagine, just to agree with you, imagine we don't care about the environment so much. No need for leader kupanda miti. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we should be planting trees. Unaona, tunahitaji aje mtu akuja tuambie now chukueni hizi seedlings and then mpande. You know, as in tuna neglect our own welfare, our own communities. Na kungojea vitu zifanywe. You get?
my final thoughts.
Mm.
Okay, sasa tuangalie, okay, we have said all these things. What is the solution? So,
I think
so yes, I give you the mic. Me, I think personally, this is non view. Starting to be corrected. I am thinking that instead ya kufika hapa yenye saa we don't know what leadership maybe it's about, because people are now entering the government with the notion of I have this, I can lead.
Yeah.
Unaona? Okay, me I feel like yes, to roll out CBC, it's a good curriculum, but we should incorporate these things so early enough so that tukifika hapa place in such tunaita youth, see that they don't have any training, unaona, it's just like na feel tunaweza lead.
Okay.
Nifike huko.
Okay.
No, let's just incorporate this in the curriculum, like something like now financial literacy. ni kitu maybe wewe utajitafutia wewe ufanye,
Kweli.
unaona, but Kenya is in debt, unaona why?
Yeah.
Misappropriation of funds, si ndio?
True.
Hizi vitu utaanza kuambia mtu by you need financial literacy, why not incorporate them in the curriculum so that by the time hao watu wanafika hata uni they know how to handle finances.
True.
Unaona,
Because
so
agree
unajua
with
we'll not be having some talks like loans, debts, unaona why? Because these people are well
already have
educated.
understanding of what
Yes.
it is.
So
I
unajua sisi
agree with you.
tunafikanga youth we don't have understanding but we need representation.
I agree with you.
So we have to actually put it in our curriculum so that some of the positions are equal to everyone. Unaona? So you bring your competence there. Unaona, watu waone by the way this thing say that you don't have, watu unajua wakiona wewe ni youth wanasema where have you been trained in leadership? Unaona, because they question your leadership.
Yeah.
That's why they cannot give you. So what I name sa kuna experience.
Yeah.
Unasema you've been umekuwa in so long in politics, you're not doing anything, you're just talking in the national parliament.
Yeah.
Then they say that they will take you back. Why? Because we see you're active, but you're not representing us. So too much activity in the parliament doesn't mean representation. Yeah, so I'll just want to end there.
Thank you, Nelson.
I'd also want to say the problem is not representation. The problem is who represents you.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we have a youth representative in our parliament or in different areas of leadership, but who represents us?
Yeah.
I think that's what we want to understand, because you find a youth representative who supports something that hurts the youth. You understand?
True.
And I also want to agree with you in a sense, like as a people we have this feel good factor about being represented. Yeah. Oh, Nelson is Nelson is, you understand, but we don't see the value that we get out of that leader.
Yeah.
I think representation is good. Women should be represented, youth should be represented, but who represents us? What we need to change is not the categorization of leadership, but what is leadership? As a leader, what are you going in there to do? You understand? Because it's important for youth to be representative. If the combat bans, it's important that the task force that investigates a trader should be in there.
Yeah.
If it's things that involve me as a youth, I want a youth leader to be there, because 8 times out of 10 anapitia.
Really.
You understand?
Really.
I think it's a matter of the character, the person that we put in those leadership. But the problem to say that youth shouldn't be there in leadership, that's wrong.
Okay.
They should be there, but who is there?
Okay.
I think the conversation we need to have right now is what type of leaders? What is the threshold that allows now you can represent me?
Okay.
You understand? Okay. Yeah, that's what I think should be.
I think as I finish, I think I've taken a different idea, and I think the youth should be in leadership but not given. I think at this point it's getting different now. So I believe they should be elected or given those positions based on merit. Yeah, not because they are youth. I think I'm at least I'm now getting it. So I've seen it will be a tough thing to agree, but these positions should not be. I think it should be based on merits. Okay. Maybe let's maybe consider women. You can say that you can give them. Yeah, but
they're also young. They're also youth.
Yeah, they're also youth. So I think it's going to be just go on the fair ground.
Yeah.
Get it based on merit. Qualify, talk to the people, convince them. You can have the position, but giving them because they are youth, I think I'm now taking a different step.
I think we should also define what is merit.
What is merit?
Merit.
Yeah.
There's a merit, I think, depending on the roles that should be given. For example, we want an ICTCS. You can get a youth who is qualified in ICT. He has practiced ICT maybe for 3 or 5 years. Yeah. And maybe even 10. Even 10 years, you still be youth. Maybe you are now 28 or something. You can still represent those people and work with them well.
Yeah, but
so I think we can now work on the merit and the best. Even if you're about election, let's select the best youth to believe in. Because I think these nominations will be political. We'll take somebody with interest there. Maybe because the person who nominated him wanted maybe to use him maybe in voting. Because we know how they're used maybe by the parties or maybe the person who nominated you there. So I believe youth should now be just go to ballots, or maybe if it's a competitive seat, compete with the other person and get the seat. But about these nominations, these positions for the youth, it should be open.
I think for me, I've heard all your thoughts, and we will agree on some things and disagree on some things. But what's important is that we keep talking about it, because now you see we've expanded the idea of merit, we will expand the idea of leadership, and we'll expand and expand and expand until we get to the best ideas. I don't have the best ideas. One of us might not have it, but together we will get to it. No. So thank you very much, Manze, for being part of this conversation. Nashukuru sana sana sana. It's been an honor. I've made new friends today, and yeah, let's keep talking.
Probably new enemies.
New enemies as well. Asante sana. Thank you very much.